What if I told you that the way you feel, your energy, your mood, your ability to focus is not random? What if anxiety and depression were not simply conditions that strike out of nowhere, but reflections of how your brain is being cared for every single day? The truth is, your brain is not fixed. It changes with every bite you take, every step you walk, every hour of sleep you get, and every thought you allow to linger. The choices you make daily can either build a brain that resists anxiety and depression or one that is more vulnerable to them. Think about this: the foods you eat become the chemicals that your brain uses to think, feel, and remember. When you fuel your brain with sugar, processed foods, or toxic substances, you're essentially poisoning your command center. But when you give it leafy greens, omega-3 fats from fish and walnuts, antioxidant rich berries, and clean proteins, you're feeding resilience and clarity. Food is not just calories, it is information telling your brain how to function. Movement is another habit that changes everything. Exercise is not just about muscles or looking fit, it is a natural antidepressant. When you walk briskly, lift weights, or practice yoga, your brain responds by releasing endorphins, balancing neurotransmitters, and literally growing new connections. Studies have shown exercise can be as powerful as antidepressant medication for many people. Every time you move, you're telling your brain to stay alive, sharp, and strong. Now let's talk about sleep. So many people treat it as optional, as if it's something you can borrow from today and repay tomorrow. But sleep is the brain's healing mechanism. During deep rest, the brain clears out toxins, resets neurotransmitters, and strengthens emotional regulation. Without it, anxiety spikes and depression deepens. Protecting your sleep is protecting your mind. Your thoughts matter too. If you constantly replay fears, negativity, or old wounds, your brain wires itself to expect more of the same. But when you shift your focus to gratitude, purpose, and possibility, you build neural pathways of hope. In my book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, I share stories of people who transformed their entire outlook simply by changing what they allowed themselves to dwell on, and never underestimate connection. Isolation fuels depression. Anxiety grows when you try to fight battles alone. But when you engage in meaningful relationships, serve others, and surround yourself with supportive people, your brain releases oxytocin and serotonin, chemicals that calm fear and strengthen joy. So the real question is this: what habits are you feeding your brain today? Because every choice is a vote for anxiety and depression or for clarity and peace. Your brain is the organ of hope, love, joy, and resilience. Protect it daily and it will protect you. Your brain is not fixed. It changes every day based on your habits. Science once believed that the brain was static, that after childhood it stayed the same and slowly declined with age. But modern research has proven something far more exciting and hopeful. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself, adapting and reshaping in response to what you do, what you think, what you eat, and even how you sleep. This process, known as neuroplasticity, means you are never stuck with the brain you have. Every day, your choices are sculpting the pathways of your mind. Think of your brain like a garden. If you plant seeds of positive habits, healthy foods, exercise, rest, gratitude, then over time, strong and resilient connections grow, much like flowers or fruitful plants. But if you neglect it, or worse, feed it toxic inputs like constant stress, junk food, lack of sleep, or negative thoughts, then weeds begin to take over. The beauty of this garden is that it is never too late to pull out the weeds and start planting something new. The soil is always alive and ready for change. Your daily habits are the architects of your brain's health. For example, when you move your body through exercise, you increase blood flow and oxygen delivery to your brain. This stimulates the release of growth factors that literally help neurons thrive and form new connections. Over time, consistent movement can sharpen memory, improve focus, and act as a natural antidepressant. If you sit all day and never challenge your body, the opposite happens. Your brain becomes sluggish, tired, and prone to decline. Food plays an equally powerful role. Every bite you take either nourishes your brain or inflames it. Diets rich in sugar and processed food trigger oxidative stress, damaging neurons and worsening mood. On the other hand, foods like salmon, leafy greens, blueberries, walnuts, and olive oil are like super fuel for your brain cells, strengthening memory, reducing inflammation, and even protecting against diseases like Alzheimer's. With each meal, you are literally sending messages to your brain about how it should function. Sleep is another daily decision that rewires your brain. During deep sleep, your brain cleans itself, flushing out toxins that build up during the day. It also consolidates memories and regulates emotional health. When you shortchange your rest, you sabotage your brain's ability to repair and strengthen itself, leaving you more anxious, forgetful, and unbalanced. By prioritizing sleep, you are teaching your brain to recover, to reset, and to perform at its best. Even your thoughts shape the brain's architecture. When you focus on fear, anger, or negativity, your brain strengthens those circuits. Over time, worry becomes automatic. But when you redirect your focus to gratitude, problem solving, and hope, you strengthen an entirely different set of pathways. The more often you repeat these patterns, the more natural they become, because your brain wires itself to whatever you practice most. The truth is your brain is always listening, always adapting, and always learning from what you do. It is not a fixed machine. It is a living, changing organ that reflects your daily choices. Every thought, every meal, every step, every hour of sleep, these are the building blocks of your future brain. The question is not whether your brain will change, because it will. The real question is, are your habits changing it for the better or for the worse? Small daily choices can either protect or damage mental health. And most people underestimate just how powerful those choices really are. We often look for big solutions, new medications, major lifestyle overhauls, dramatic changes, while overlooking the simple, repeated decisions we make every day that quietly shape the state of our mind. Mental health is not built in one moment. It is constructed brick by brick, decision by decision, habit by habit. The food you eat, the thoughts you allow, the sleep you prioritize, the movement you choose, and the relationships you nurture all add up to either a brain that is strong, resilient, and joyful, or one that is fragile, stressed, and easily thrown into anxiety or depression. Consider food. Grabbing a sugary snack in the middle of the day might not feel like much, but that small choice spikes your blood sugar, sends insulin rushing through your body, and eventually crashes your energy and mood. Repeat this habit daily, and you're not just dealing with fatigue, you're programming your brain to ride a roller coaster of highs and lows. But imagine choosing a handful of nuts, some fruit, or a protein-rich snack instead. That small adjustment stabilizes your energy and protects your mood. Over weeks and months, those little swaps literally build resilience against anxiety and depression. Sleep is another example. Staying up an extra hour to scroll on your phone doesn't feel catastrophic in the moment, but that lost hour steals deep rest, the very time your brain needs to clean itself, repair cells, and regulate emotions. Chronic sleep deprivation adds up quickly, making you irritable, unfocused, and more vulnerable to stress. On the other hand, deciding to put your phone down and go to bed on time is an act of protection for your mind. Over time, that consistency creates emotional balance and and sharper clarity. Your thoughts are choices too. Every time you dwell
Well,
on a negative memory, rehearse your fears or replay harsh self criticism, you're deepening grooves in your brain that make worry automatic. The more you entertain those thoughts, the more your brain wires itself for them. But the opposite is also true. Choosing gratitude, redirecting your attention to solutions instead of problems, and practicing hopeful thoughts rewires the brain toward calm and confidence. That small daily discipline protects mental health in profound ways. Movement is another underestimated decision. Choosing to sit all day versus taking a short walk is more than a physical choice. It's a mental one. Movement increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, stimulates endorphins, and reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, exercise acts like a shield against depression and anxiety. Skipping it daily erodes that shield, leaving you more exposed to emotional struggles. Even the people you allow into your life are part of these small choices. Surrounding yourself with negativity and toxic relationships chips away at your mental health slowly, while seeking supportive, uplifting connections strengthens your emotional resilience. Each conversation either drains your mind or nourishes it. And over time, those moments accumulate into patterns of despair or joy. The truth is, mental health is not decided by fate. It is designed by the tiny decisions repeated over time. Small daily choices may seem insignificant, but they are the brushstrokes, painting the picture of your emotional future. Protecting your brain is not about grand gestures. It is about respecting the power of the ordinary moments and recognizing that each choice is either a step toward peace, ace, or a step toward pain. Nutrition plays a direct role in mood, focus, and brain chemistry, even though many people still treat food as if it only affects the body and not the mind. The truth is, every bite you take becomes raw material for your brain cells, your neurotransmitters, and your hormones. The fuel you provide your brain determines whether you feel balanced or anxious, clear or foggy, motivated or drained. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, yet it consumes nearly 20% of your energy. That means what you eat is not a minor factor. It is one of the most powerful levers. You have to shape how you think and feel every day. When your diet is filled with processed foods, sugary drinks, and artificial additives, your brain suffers. These foods spike blood sugar, causing energy crashes and irritability. They trigger inflammation, which interferes with neural communication and makes it harder for your brain to regulate mood. They deplete essential nutrients like magnesium, B vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids, all of which are crucial for producing serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that regulate happiness, focus, and motivation. Over time, a poor diet is not just about gaining weight or feeling sluggish. It can become the root of depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline. On the other hand, nutrient dense whole foods act as medicine for the brain. Omega-3 rich foods like salmon, walnuts, and flaxseed strengthen neural connections and help stabilize mood. Leafy greens like spinach and kale are packed with folate and antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress, which protects the brain from premature aging. Berries provide powerful compounds that improve memory and protect neurons from damage. Even something as simple as staying hydrated improves focus and mental clarity because the brain is nearly three-quarters water and is extremely sensitive to dehydration. The way nutrition influences brain chemistry is profound. Proteins provide amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine, which are the building blocks for serotonin and dopamine. Healthy fats from avocados, olive oil, and nuts improve blood flow to the brain and form the membranes of your neurons. Complex carbohydrates from vegetables and whole grains provide steady glucose, which is the brain's primary energy source. Without the wild spikes and crashes that refined carbs create.
Mm.
Each of these nutrients tells your brain how to perform, whether to feel calm or stressed, sharp or sluggish. What you eat also directly affects the gut. And the gut is deeply connected to the brain through what scientists call the gut brain axis. A diet high in fiber, probiotics, and whole foods supports healthy gut bacteria, which in turn produce compounds that influence mood and reduce inflammation. When your gut is unhealthy from junk food, your brain suffers, creating a vicious cycle of poor mood, low focus, and cravings for more unhealthy food. The lesson is clear. You cannot separate mental health from nutrition. If you want better focus, stronger memory, and a calmer mood, you must feed your brain what it needs. Every meal is a chance to either fuel clarity or feed confusion, to build peace or worsen anxiety. Nutrition is not just about keeping the body alive. It is about shaping the very chemistry that determines who you are, how you feel, and what you are capable of becoming. Movement and exercise act like medicine for anxiety and depression. And yet, most people still think of exercise only in terms of losing weight or looking fit. The reality is that your brain thrives on movement, and when you sit still too long, it suffers. Exercise is not just about sculpting your body, it is about healing your mind. Every step you take, every time your heart rate rises, every stretch or lift or movement you commit to, you are sending powerful signals to your brain that change its chemistry in ways no pill can fully replicate. When you move, your brain releases endorphins, the natural feel good chemicals that instantly elevate your mood and calm your stress. These endorphins act almost like nature's antidepressant, soothing anxiety and giving you a sense of well being. Beyond endorphins, exercise boosts serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters that regulate mood, motivation, and pleasure. Low levels of these chemicals are strongly linked to depression, and movement is one of the fastest, most effective ways to raise them naturally. This is why a brisk walk, a session at the gym, or even a few minutes of stretching can make you feel lighter, calmer, and more focused almost immediately. Exercise also reduces the stress hormone cortisol, which is often elevated in people with anxiety. When cortisol levels remain high, the brain becomes overwhelmed and worry feels unmanageable. Moving your body helps burn off that stress hormone, literally shaking out tension and signaling your nervous system to relax. Over time, regular physical activity rewires your stress response so that you become more resilient in the face of life's challenges. What once would have left you anxious or depressed becomes easier to handle because your brain has been conditioned by movement to adapt and recover. Another powerful effect of exercise is neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. Scientists have found that consistent aerobic activity stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factors, BDNF, a compound often called miracle, grow for the brain. BDNF helps neurons grow, connect, and communicate more effectively, which improves memory, focus, and emotional stability.
Right.
This means that exercise is not only treating the symptoms of anxiety and depression, it is actually reshaping your brain to be stronger and more balanced. Movement also provides structure, routine, and accomplishment, three things that are vital for mental health. Anxiety and depression thrive in chaos and stagnation. But when you commit to a daily walk, a yoga class, or a simple morning stretch, you create a sense of order and achievement. Even small victories like completing a 10-minute workout, confidence and momentum, reminding your brain that you are capable of taking action and moving forward. It is important to remember that movement does not have to be extreme to be effective. You don't need hours in the gym or grueling routines. Consistency is more important than intensity. A brisk walk, light weights, dancing, swimming, or even gardening all activate the same brain healing pathways. What matters is that you move every day, because every time you do, you are prescribing yourself a dose of natural medicine that heals from the inside out. The truth is simple. Exercise is one of the most powerful, proven, and accessible treatments for anxiety and depression. It is free, it has no negative side effects, and it is available to you at any moment. Movement is medicine, and by choosing it daily, you give your brain the chance to grow, to heal, and to return to balance. Sleep and rest are powerful tools for emotional resilience, yet they are often the first things we sacrifice in our busy, overstimulated lives. People treat sleep as optional, something to cut short in order to work longer, scroll through social media, or binge watch shows. But what most don't realize is that sleep is not wasted time. It is active recovery for the brain and body. It is during sleep that your brain recharges, processes emotions, and restores balance to your entire system. Without it, even the strongest mind begins to crack under the weight of stress, anxiety, and emotional instability. When you sleep, your brain goes through cycles that are crucial for emotional regulation. In deep sleep, the brain flushes out toxins that build up during the day, while in REM sleep. It processes emotions, consolidates memories, and helps you make sense of experiences. This nightly reset is like therapy for your brain. If you skip it or constantly cut it short, emotions pile up unresolved, leading to irritability, mood swings, and a heightened sensitivity to stress. That's why something small can feel overwhelming after a night of poor rest. Yeah. You haven't given your brain the chance to reset and strengthen itself. A lack of sleep also throws your brain chemistry into chaos. It lowers serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters that help you feel calm and motivated, while increasing cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels anxiety.